Truth is, I am Iron Man.
That is at least in Marvel Rivals. That's right, like every other gamer on the planet, I have become addicted to this game and its gameplay. And Iron Man has easily become one of my favorite characters. The flying, the lasers, and the other team's inability to look up and shoot me are all great features of the character. But anyone that has played him will know that he's missing one very important thing. Jarvis is Iron Man's AI assistant, and helps Iron Man with all sorts of things. But how could Jarvis be used in Marvel Rivals? Well, by using a simple voice recognition module, I can effectively make Jarvis in Marvel Rivals. This module can recognize specific commands, and it can be used with a simple circuit to press a corresponding button on my keyboard, allowing me to activate an in-game ability. Now, I know what you're thinking. Hasn't someone already made Jarvis in Marvel Rivals? And why, yes, they have! And they did it very well too. So, am I copying them? No. Actually, believe it or not, I had this idea back in January, before their video came out. So anyways, what I made is also completely different, and to show that, let's look at how I designed it. For my Jarvis assistant, I wanted to incorporate a few unique features. For one, I'm majoring in mechanical engineering, so I decided that I wanted to design a physical interface for Jarvis. But no, not like that, but rather more like this. Also, unlike this guy, I really don't know my way around actual coding or how to use it to interface with my computer, so I wanted to focus less on the AI aspect of Jarvis, and rather focus on the command aspect. So what better to make than what I make best? A shitty video game interface. Thank you, yes, I know. Specifically, I wanted to design this assistant to act as a way to actually play Marvel Rivals, rather than just type stuff in chat and clip that. In any case, this means that I want Jarvis to A, be a physical assistant, and B, interface with the character's controls themselves. So, how do we achieve this? We'll have to make... As established, the ultimate goal of Jarvis is to control my character on screen. There are 3 possible routes that I could go about to achieve this. First off, I could control what happens in-game with code directly, similar to what's done in Patchy's video. Second, I could directly use an Arduino to send controller inputs to my computer, as I've done in the past when I made a mini hitbox. Or lastly, I could do the Ooga Booga solution and wire something to directly press the keys on my keyboard. Evidently, the first option is easiest, right? Wrong. While directly controlling my computer with code is easy, it's not as easy to get my computer to interface with the aforementioned voice control module without an Arduino. So obviously that leaves us with option 2. But once again, it is not that simple. You see, Marvel Rivals has gotten very strict in their crusade against what they deem to be cheating devices. And while what I did end up making could hardly be considered as such... Oh, Jarvis! Fly! 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 Gambling direct inputs from an Arduino with their anti-cheat client is a no-go for me. And so, that leaves us with option 3. A circuit that manually presses the buttons on my keyboard. And hell, if Mike Boyd can do the same for Elden Ring and get 400,000 views, then I can do it for Jarvis. So, how does one make such a circuit? Well, I instantly remembered a video I saw recently by a channel called Plasitech, as he made something similar using a voice module to make a digital assistant that he called a Adolf. So, I bought the very same voice module and instantly found out that this was going to be a giant pain in my ass. Once I had the thing wired up with an Arduino, I had to sit and train the stupid thing for hours for it to recognize my voice and the words I wanted to use for commands. And yes, words. As I had already seen in Plasitech's video, this thing can't really recognize phrases well.
So now we have officially confirmed that we can indeed communicate with our voice assistant. It will be one word at a time, so we will sound pretty f***ing dumb, but that's also part of the experience.
So I had to use single words as my commands. So I've been trying to get this to recognize the words 1 through 6 as test phrases for a little bit now, and so this is how I do that. I go over here to the serial monitor, I type in train. Hello? 2. And we'll train the second word, which is just going to be 2. Okay. Speak now. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2! To initiate a command, I simply say Jarvis. Then, to activate an in-game ability, I follow up with one word for the corresponding attack. For example, for his pulse attack, I say ball. For his unibeam, laser. And for flight, I say Jarvis, steal his balls. Just kidding. I say fly. Now, to get this voice module to control my inputs, I need for it to be able to communicate with some servos. To control these servos through the voice module, I needed some additional circuit logic between the two, consisting of an Arduino Nano and a servo controller. So, the Arduino Nano receives one of 6 unique signals from the voice module when I say a certain command. Then, it relays one of these signals to the servo controller, which controls these 6 Arduinos. So, let's see if it works. 1. 1. 1. 1. 2. 3. 4. 4. 5. 6. Good enough. Good enough. Next, I want to focus on an alternate aspect of Jarvis's design. In the movies, Jarvis will respond to Iron Man's commands, typically with his own voice lines. And while I considered integrating this into my design, I figured it was unnecessary as I will already be listening to gameplay audio. So, I decided to add a different aspect of Jarvis into my design. That being a pop-up display. No, not like that. Rather with this simple circular OLED display. The purpose of this display is to show the commands that I give Jarvis. And to achieve this, I created some nice images, uploaded them to my Arduino, and had it display them directly onto the screen. Yeah, I wish it was that simple. You see, while this display can be controlled by the Arduino in theory, the Arduino does not have enough onboard memory to store the images. This is why these screens are typically used with ESP32 boards. So, of course, I bought an ESP32, which should be able to independently control the screen and store the 6 images I need to represent the 6 commands. Then bada bing bada boom, add this thing onto the original circuit, and it works! Yay! No, it doesn't. Why? Please, I don't want to do this anymore!
Welcome to
Pee-wee's engineering lesson. You see, the reason I can't simply connect the ESP32 to the Arduino directly is because the Arduino works with 5V logic and the ESP32 works with 3V logic. Simply put, you need 5 electricities to control this, and only 3 to control this. So if I push 5 electricities into this one, something bad will happen. Oh, I guess not. So how do I make it so that they can work together? Well, that's where resistors come in to help. You see, in electrical circuits, these little guys can be used to divide voltages. Basically, while the voltage across both of them is the same as the source, if I just take the voltage across one of them, it will only be a portion of the original voltage. Specifically, with that, we can easily make it so that the Arduino can communicate with the ESP32. And voila, sweet, beautiful images. Lastly, I added a simple light up strip that lights up whenever you say Jarvis because I'm making a damn glorified Alexa at this point. But that's okay because it's finally time for the fun part! With the circuit done, I was left with figuring out how to mount it to my keyboard. That is my NuFi Air 60. A low-profile mechanical keyboard I chose to use for this project, as its form factor is easy to design around. So after taking some pictures and getting some dimensions, I could finally start designing Jarvis. Oh, I didn't film me actually. And this is the final design. The servos go here, the mic goes there, the screen goes here, and well, the rest, you'll see after I So, now let's build it. To fit the design on my printer, I had to split the main body up into 3 parts. These fit perfectly due to these little pegs and these cutout teeth. Now, with the main body together, we can install the main circuit in this cavity. As the servos will be mounted on the outside of this main cavity, they can be plugged in through this hole, and their wires guided through this channel. The circuit won't be plugged into my computer like it was when I was making it, so I added these little drawers on either side that can hold 1 battery pack each. With that dealt with, we can close up the main cavity with these special faceplates that serve as mounting points for the mic, screen, and on-off switch that I soldered to the power on either battery pack. And to fasten these in, I chose to use heated thread inserts, which I pushed into these holes with my soldering iron. Then, I placed on the gold adornments as this design is Iron Man themed after all. And finally, I screwed all the pieces in. That is after I placed down the light strip and covered it with these clear pieces. Almost forgot that. And it's done! That is, after I placed in each servo, placed these covers over them, and put in the keyboard, of course. Finally! It's... What? What mouse? Oh, the mouse! The mouse actually turned out to be really simple to design, as I recently upgraded my 3D printer to a Bamboo Labs P1S, which came with this kit to build your own mouse. If you're wondering why I didn't use it to print the other things in this video, by the way, that's because I filmed most of this video back at home over my spring break, and the P1S is up at my dorm in college. Anyways, I found this minimal mouse by Buildy Bryce on MakerWorld to use as a basis for my design, and now here we are. The board gets mounted into this base, which is screwed into the main shell, where the servos are inserted. And then, these 2 gold pieces cap it all off, and now, Jarvis is complete. What? You want to see it working? Ugh. So first, I turn them on, and nothing happens. That is until, of course, I say, Jarvis, for which this LED strip lights up. From this point, I can initiate any command, and Jarvis will press the corresponding button on my mouse or keyboard. For example, fly. And he pressed Shift, and the info on the screen represents the action that I just initiated. To switch to another command, I have to simply say, Jarvis. Again, and I can say something else. For example, missile. And he pressed F to launch the missiles. If I want to use the same command more than one time in a row, I simply have to say that command again. Missiles. Jarvis. Fly. Jarvis. Power. Jarvis. Missile. On the mouse, there are 2 commands. Jarvis. Ball. Which presses my left mouse button in order to shoot. For the right mouse button, however, you may know that this command needs to be held down in order to be used effectively. So, when I say Jarvis, laser, Jarvis presses down the right mouse button and doesn't lift back up until I say laser. Again. Now that Jarvis is working, let's try him in game. But first, I'd like to try him in practice mode. Also, to navigate the menu, I have to use voice commands, so Jarvis. Ball. 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 You may notice that my movement keys and the mouse's tracking aren't controlled by Jarvis. This is because without controlling these manually, I don't think I'd be able to get a single kill. But to make sure everything works, let's try it out on the practice enemies. To try everything out, let's try each command individually. First off, Jarvis. Ball. 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 Second ball, Jarvis. Laser. Laser. Third, Jarvis. Power. Fourth, Jarvis. Missile. Fifth, Jarvis. Fly. Fly. And last, but certainly not least, Jarvis. Air fryer.
Maximum pulse. Pulse cannons end arguments.
So now let's try it in a real game. So the first thing I'm gonna try is do match because I think it'll be a bit easier to get a kill. In this game mode, your only goal is to get kills, so we'll see how well I can do that. Jarvis. Fly. Jarvis. Jarvis. Fly. Laser. Jarvis. Ball. 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 It's the same fucking Spider-Man. Oh. Power. Jarvis. Laser. I got my one kill. Jarvis. Missile. Jarvis. Power. Jarvis. So, that went really well. So, yeah, Doom Match went pretty bad. But next up I decided to try Quick Match, and it went similar. Well, we already have 3 DPS. That's a good sign. Jarvis. Laser. 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 Jarvis. Ball. 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 Jarvis. Ball. 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 Talking about a lot of balls. I can't press G. It's blocked. You know what? Okay. I can't. Okay. Laser. Jarvis. Missile. Air fryer. Get fucked, Hawkeye. Oh. You see, a lot of the problem was that Jarvis didn't have his AirPod Pros with hearing aid capabilities in, so he couldn't hear me half of the time. Jarvis. Laser. 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 Laser! Jarvis. Laser. 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 Can't turn it off. I can't turn it off. I can't turn it off! Laser. Laser. Jarvis. Laser. Fly. 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 Oh no. Fly. 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 Fly! No, stop. Fly. Fly. Okay. Jarvis. 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 Yeah, you may notice that sometimes Jarvis doesn't hear me. Oh, Jarvis. Fly. 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 Even so, I did manage to get a few kills. Laser. I got a kill. Laser. Here, you little rat. Yes. Jarvis. Laser. Jarvis. Air fryer. Let's go! But overall, it didn't go great. So I've kind of learned that my best shot at killing anyone is to hide in the corner and power up. Jarvis. Power. And then hope to God that I can hit someone with my laser. No, 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 no. I hate this. Jarvis. Laser. Oh, what the hell is that? Laser. I think that servo is a bit, cooked. So, should I give up? Is this just not a viable way to play the game? No. It is viable. In fact, it's optimal. I'll show them. That Spider-Man, that stupid Hawkeye, they will know the power of an Iron Man player that has the power of God and Jarvis on his side. And so, I queued into one last match. And despite the start of the match going like this, power. Jarvis. Laser. 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 Ball. 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 Laser. 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 Jarvis. Jarvis. Laser. Laser. I can say missile. Jarvis. 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 After turning Jarvis off and on again, I was ready to show Jarvis's true power. Jarvis. Laser. Laser. Fly. Jarvis. Missile. Jarvis. Laser. Air fryer. Jarvis. Clip that. Well, that's the end of that, and it only took me 4 months. I hope you enjoyed this video. Again, check out that guy that made an actual good version of this with code, but more importantly, check out more of my videos. Look, I made an Elmo taser. Now, subscribe, please. I'll make more videos, I promise. Oh, I know. I could make an autonomous robot that can play as Ultron, or ooh, even better, if they add Daredevil, I can make a way to play the game without being able to see.